Land ownership has been a cornerstone of wealth and security throughout human history. But owning land isn't just about possessing a physical space. It is about owning legal authority over it. Now, this legal authority comes in forms of documentations. Today on Real Estate in Perspective, we're going to be diving deep into one of the most crucial documentation, the almighty C of O, Certificate of Occupancy. Hi, my name is Bethel Ehikioya. Welcome to Real Estate in Perspective with Ehi-Kings. I'm your regular host and also a real estate consultant, and of course the executive director, Ehi-Kings Real Estate and Construction Company. Now, if you are just watching my video and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd like you to quickly subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. And of course, if you're watching this video, I'll also encourage you to give me a like, leave a comment, and of course, please do share this video, share this amazing content to everyone who needs to know about real estate investing and several other content that I've shared in this channel. Now let's dive deeply into today's topic, Certificate of Occupancy. Now, what is C of O? What is Certificate of Occupancy? Why does it matter? Why is it a big deal to own C of O? How do you get it? And how does it compare to other property titles that you know? Now, by the end of this video, you would understand why the C of O is regarded as the gold standard of land ownership. It is a big deal, right? So let's begin. A certificate of occupancy, often referred as C of O, is a document issued by the government providing that you have the legal right to occupy or use a particular space of land or property. In simple terms, it is the government's way of saying, yes, you officially own this land and we recognize it, right? So C of O, as popularly known, is an official document issued by the government to a landlord or property owner validating the person's right to occupy or use the parcel of land. Simple. Validating your right to own and use the land. Now, this document is crucial because it certifies that the government has given you or granted you the legal ownership to the land. Now, whether you are buying land or building a house or setting up a commercial property, having a C of O is essential for full legal possession. Now, one of the most significant benefits of having a C of O is that it provides you with legal security, right? Without proper documentation, your ownership could be challenged by others, including the government or previous owners. So having a C of O gives you that legal security over your property, over the piece of land. A C of O is an ultimate proof of ownership. It protects your land from unauthorized claims, and also if a dispute arises, using a C of O gives you a strong legal backing and defense. So without it, you could lose your investment entirely. See why it is important to have a C of O. Number two benefit of having a C of O is that it increases your property worth or value. Properties with C of O are more valuable. Why? That's because buyers and investors often feel safer purchasing lands that has clear legal documentations like C of O. Now, the property market rewards security, and C of O assures that it gives every potential buyers that sense of security that everything and above is under control as regards to the land purchase or property. Number three is eligibility for loans and financing. Now, this is another reason why a lot of people value this having C of O. It is important because it opens doors for you to obtain financial and bank loans. Now, banks and financial institutions often they require C of O documents when you want to request for facility or loans from the bank or any financial institution, because it's a solid proof of ownership before offering mortgages or developmental loans, whatever it is, whatever form of loan you want to require or you seek to require from the bank. They would definitely want you to provide a CFO. So without a CFO, most banks, I don't think I know of any banks that would, give you a loan if you don't have a CFO, your property or land. See, most banks will require, that you provide a CFO before they give you any form of facility or loan, right? So it's very important. Perhaps this could be one of the most crucial reasons why you need to have a CFO, or why some people, major on having a CFO on the property before they purchase. People want to perfect all their documents before they resell their land. It is important that you have all of these sorted out, because CFO is crucial and is a most sought after form of documentation, especially in Lagos State, Nigeria. So now that we have established why a CFO is very, very important, let's delve into how you can get your CFO. The process of acquiring a CFO can be very demanding, right? And it also varies depending on your location. But there are general steps that you need to take or follow to be able to obtain your CFO. Now I'll break it down so that you understand clearly or understand the steps that you need to take. Number one is application submission. The first step is to submitting an application to the relevant government authorities, typically the land registry or ministry in charge of lands, depending on the state that you're obtaining from. Now, this application includes details about the land, its location, the size, and your identity as the owner. That's basically the information that will be required in this application form. The number two is land survey and verification. Now, once your application is received, the government will conduct a legal survey on the land, on the property that you require to get a CFO on. Now, this ensures that the land's boundaries are clearly marked and defined, and there are no existing claims or disputes. The government will do the search and ensure that the land that you seek to obtain a CFO on does not have any dispute at all. A licensed surveyor would visit the plot or the piece of land and make sure it aligns with the government records. Take the coordinates and make sure it aligns with government records. So this is one of the process. And then the next one is inspection and approval. Now, after the survey has been conducted by the government may require to also carry out inspection to confirm that this land is suitable for its intended use. That is, if you obtain the land, maybe it has been designated by the government for residential purpose, right? And you want to do commercial real estate. The government will need to ascertain that the land you have purchased is for its intended use. The use you want to use it for is for its intended use. Now, once this is done, your application moves to the approval phase, right? If everything is done and checked, then you will receive a notification that your CFO has been granted. It sounds simple, it sounds easy, I know, right? But truly and really, the process of obtaining CFO is quite an Herculean task. Let's talk about the payments of fees. How do you pay for your CFO? Now, before you can receive your CFO, you will need to pay certain statutory fees, right? This vary depending on the size and the location of the land. And of course, sometimes there are administrative charges that comes with it that are involved in these statutory fees. Now, once you are paid, you are almost done. Then the next phase will be the issuance of the CFO. Now, this is the final stage, right? So finally, you have completed all the steps and you have paid the fees. The government will then issue your certificate of occupancy, the almighty CFO. After you have gone through all the stages, the government will then issue you your certificate of occupancy. And if you have done that, congratulations, because now you have a full legal ownership of your land, right? So let's talk about, is C of O the best title? Now we hear C of O, C of O. So people will not buy property if it doesn't have a C of O. Is it the best title? I have done a video on land documentation. If you haven't watched that video, I'd like you to go watch that particular video where I talked about land documentations and the C of O. Is it the best? Why do people clamor to have C of O on their properties? Now let me just simply answer this question. Yes, C of O is one of the best land documentations that you should have, right? But let's also outline and talk about or compare it with other property titles so that you would understand why it is. Now, C of O, for instance, versus governor's consent. Some properties have governor's consent on them, some have C of O. Now let's talk about this. Now the next we'll be comparing to C of O is accession or gazette. That is C of O versus accession or gazette. An accession means that the government has officially designated a particular location, land, community, right, for private use to its residents. That the government maybe initially had interest in that area, in that location, that piece of land, but they now want to release it to the family or community for whatever purpose they want to use it for, most especially for residential purpose. Now that release from the government to the community or to the family is what we call accession. The government is excising those portion of lands to the family or to the community for residential use, residential purpose, whatever it is they may want to use it for. Now, the process of releasing those portions of land to the community, the process of releasing it has to be documented. Now, that record where it is documented is called a gazette, right? So that is where it is recorded. It has to be stated. There has to be a proof, right, that government has actually released this property or this piece of land or portions of land to the community. The record book is what we call a gazette. So that is where the proof of that transfer from the government to the community is documented, right? So that gazette records those excised portions of land. But here's the key point. Now, a property excised from government land still requires a C of O if you want to really have legal backing and security over that piece of land. So if you want to have full legal rights and possession over your excised land, a C of O still stands above accession or gazette because it provides clear proof of ownership, right? So it is also important to have your C of O on the gazetted or excised land, right? Okay, so if you don't have a C of O, what does this then mean? Can you still build? Can you buy a property that doesn't have a C of O? Can you build on a property that does not have a C of O? This is another frequently asked questions that I get from a lot of my investors who over time have invested with me, because as a real estate company we have several properties and these properties have several land documentations, right? Some have accession. We have a property that has accession. We have the ones that have survey. We have the ones that have governor's consent, and we also have a property that has C of O. Now, the one that has C of O is located at Ehi-Kings. That's a Grace Villa Garden Estate, and amazingly, this property is selling for 45 million naira. Now, this value is way below what is selling in that location. That's because we always put our investors at heart. Now, if you are watching this video right now, I want you to hurry to my DM and give me just send me a message that you are interested in buying this property. It doesn't happen often, it doesn't happen everywhere, but at Ehi-Kings, trust us, we always bring amazing deals like this. So if you are hearing this right now, fortunate are you. Hurry and reach out to me. Let me send you other details about this property. Now let's dive again into the topic of discussion for today. I just thought to let you into this offer, right? So here's another frequently asked questions by investors. If I don't have a CFO, what does it mean? Can I build? Is my property secured? Do I have right of ownership? Yes, of course you do. You do have right of ownership. Now, the best thing that would happen to any investor is if you invest right. And investing right means investing with a trusted, reliable real estate company or individuals, and of course, investing in locations that have huge returns on investment. If you get these two right, you are sure secured. Your property is secured. Like I said earlier, we have various properties that have different titles, not necessarily the CFO, but they are secured. So if you buy into any of these properties, because you are buying from a legit and trusted company, your property is secure, and you also have a legal right, because we have done all the due diligence to ensure that these properties are free from every unknown government encumbrance that may hinder you from having full possession of your property. So we have done all of that. All you then need to do is, if you buy a property that doesn't have CFO, you probably want to further perfect that document, okay? Perfect the title of that property. So it is also very safe if you buy a property that does not have a CFO. Now let's look at the risk of building without a CFO. Technically, it is possible to build without a CFO. I've established that, right? So especially if you have some other forms of ownership, land ownership documentation. But if you are building without a CFO, you are exposing yourself to several other risks. Now this is very, very peculiar when you don't buy from real estate companies. If you buy from maybe homoneyless individuals, somebody who have bought and is reselling, it is very important for you to perfect your documents. Please go get a CFO. But if you buy from a trusted real estate company that has already secured your land for you from government encumbrance, from somebody else or family encroaching, you are safe to build on that property. Now let's look at the legal consequences of having a CFO. Now, in many areas, you need government approval to build. And of course, CFO is one of such requirements, right? For you to get that approval to build. So if you proceed without one, you could face legal consequences, which include fines, or you are being forced to evacuate that property, or they could come forcefully to demolish the structure. So these are some of the legal consequences of not having a CFO, right? So I've delved deeply into definition of CFO, why you should have a CFO. I've talked about comparing CFO with other land documents, and I've also talked about the risk involved in not having a CFO. I've talked about the legal consequences of having or not having a CFO. And I've also assured you that if you don't have a CFO on your property, but you have invested from a trusted and reliable real estate company, you have no fears or worries at all, because your property is safe and secure in the hands of that trusted and reliable company that has serious or direct dealings with the government. So the government knows that this company has acquired this property, and they have done their due diligence and search, and is free from every known government encumbrances. So you can possess your property and build and do whatever you want to do with it. But to be on the very safe and assured side, if you want to have your CFO, please go ahead and do such do as it pleases you. Okay, so I need to establish all of these facts, and I've also intimated you on our current offer running at Grace Villa Garden Estate that has the title CFO on it, and it is selling at a very discounted price right now. Sometimes I say real estate is not a get rich quick scheme, but this one is looking like one, right? It's looking like one get rich quick scheme, investment, but it is what it is. Sometimes it happens like that. So the smart and the wise ones always jump on these offers, and I'm sure you are one of them. So reach out to me today and let me help you invest wisely. So as we have seen, certificate of occupancy is not just a piece of paper, it is your legal shield, your financial assets, and of course the key to developing your property with confidence and legal backings and assurance. So if you are serious about securing your land or building, please ensure that you obtain a CFO. And if you do not know how to go about it, please do consult the right authorities that will help you go through the processes of obtaining a CFO. It is actually an Herculean task, trust me, but you can reach out to a trusted real estate company that will help guide you through this process of obtaining your CFO. I'm sure you learned a lot in this video. If you do, please encourage me to do more. Go subscribe to my channel, Bethel Ehikioya or Ehi-Kings Real Estate, and also turn on the notification button so that you get notified whenever we post a new video, and do not hesitate to share this video as well. You can leave a comment, questions, whatever it is, concerns that we have. I'll go through it, and it may just be my next topic for my next video. Till then, I love you. Always we say at Ehi-Kings, invest with us today and you most definitely will smile tomorrow.